They think I seduced Kang Min. That's what they whisper when I walk into rooms like this one. Crystal chandeliers throwing diamonds across marble. Champagne flowing like dirty money. The elite pretending they're not terrified of the woman on the most dangerous man's arm. If only they knew the truth. I wasn't seducing anyone the night everything changed. I was dying. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the night I fell. 6 months ago, I stood in this exact ballroom, but I was a different woman. Actually, that's not quite true. I was the same woman. I just didn't know it yet. Didn't know what I was capable of. Didn't know that the bruises hidden beneath my red Valentino gown were the last ones I'd ever allow anyone to give me. The Gala was my family's event that year. The Walkers, hosting the city's elite, showing off our wealth and influence like peacocks displaying feathers. My father stood near the entrance, shaking hands with men who pretended to respect him, while calculating how to steal his market share. My mother drifted through the crowd like a ghost in pearls and Chanel, smiling that empty smile she'd perfected over 30 years of looking the other way. And me? I was the perfect daughter, the dutiful fiancée, the pretty ornament on Nathaniel Kim's arm, displayed like one of the art pieces decorating the walls. I was also planning how to survive the next 3 hours without my body giving out completely. The bruises were fresh, only 2 days old. Nathaniel had been angry about something I'd said at dinner with his parents, something about his business strategy being flawed, about the distribution network he was trying to build having a fatal weakness that would cost them millions within 6 months. I'd been right, of course. I was always right about business. That was the problem. He'd cornered me in my apartment afterward, pushed me against the wall with enough force to crack 2 ribs, not enough to break them completely. He was careful about that. Nathaniel was always careful. Careful about where he left marks. Careful about how hard he gripped. Careful to make sure I understood that my intelligence was an embarrassment, not an asset. "You embarrass me," he'd said, his breath hot on my face, fingers digging into my arms hard enough to leave fingerprint bruises. In front of my family, made me look stupid. "I'm sorry," I'd whispered, because it was easier than explaining that facts aren't embarrassment. They're just facts. Then I'd spent 2 days hiding in my apartment, swallowing painkillers and practicing my smile in the mirror. The engagement had been arranged 6 months prior, a business merger disguised as romance. The Walkers needed the Kim family's connections. The Kims wanted access to our distribution networks. I was the signature on the contract, dressed in silk and told to smile. Nobody asked if I wanted this. Nobody ever asked what I wanted. The answer, as it turned out, was approximately 3 hours and 17 minutes into the Gala before my body decided it was done pretending. I remember the exact moment I knew I was in trouble. Nathaniel had his hand on my waist, right where the worst of the bruising was, and was introducing me to some business associate whose name I immediately forgot. The chandeliers seemed too bright suddenly, each crystal prism fragmenting light into thousands of tiny daggers. The music swelled too loud. The air grew thick, like breathing through wet silk. "Smile, darling," Nathaniel murmured in my ear, his fingers pressing harder, a reminder, a warning. I smiled. I was good at smiling, but my body had other plans. The pain in my ribs had been a constant companion for 2 days, but now it was spreading, sharp and hot, radiating through my chest with every breath. My vision started to blur at the edges, the ballroom tilting like a ship in rough water. Not here, not now, not in front of everyone. I tried to excuse myself, to make it to the bathroom or a quiet corner, anywhere but the center of this glittering cage. But Nathaniel's grip tightened. "We're not done here," he said quietly. His smile never wavered. Neither did mine. We were both such good pretenders. My father was giving a speech at the front of the room. Something about family legacy and honored traditions. About the Walker name meaning something in this city. I wasn't listening. I was too busy trying to remember how to breathe without feeling like broken glass was shredding my lungs from the inside out. The applause started. Everyone raised their glasses in a toast to whatever platitudes my father had just delivered. I tried to raise mine, but my arm felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. That's when my legs stopped working. I felt myself falling, the crystal glass slipping from my fingers. Time did that strange thing where it slows down and speeds up simultaneously. I saw the marble floor rushing up to meet me. Saw Nathaniel step back to avoid being pulled down with me. Saw my father's face across the room, more annoyed than concerned. And then, calm hands, strong arms. I didn't hit the floor. Someone caught me. "I've got you," a voice said. Low, steady, and way too amused for someone who just caught a falling woman. Though I have to say, there are easier ways to get my attention. The ballroom went silent. I looked up into the face of the man holding me like I weighed nothing, like catching falling women was something he did every day. Dark eyes met mine, assessing, intelligent, and suddenly very, very dangerous. I knew his name before he ever told me. Everyone in the city knew Kang Min, and I had just collapsed directly into his arms. Okay, pause for a second. I need to know something. Where are you right now? What are you doing while you're listening to this? Because I'm imagining some of you are folding laundry, some are pretending to work, and at least one person is listening to this in the bathroom. If that's you, respect. No shame here. Leave a comment and tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you're invested in watching Shauna absolutely demolish everyone who wronged her, do me a favor. Hit like and subscribe. More stories like this are coming, and you're not going to want to miss them. All right, let's get back to it. Saw my father's face across the room, his speech interrupted, more irritated than worried. This was inconvenient. We had investors watching. And then, calm hands. Strong arms catching me mid-fall like I weighed nothing at all. I didn't hit the floor. Someone caught me. "I've got you," a voice said. Low, steady, absolutely certain. The ballroom went completely silent. 300 people was holding their collective breath. I looked up into the face of the man holding me effortlessly, one arm beneath my knees, the other supporting my back. Dark eyes met mine, assessing, intelligent, and suddenly very, very dangerous. His face was all sharp angles and controlled power, the kind of face that made hardened criminals reconsider their life choices. I knew his name before he ever told me. Everyone in the city knew Kang Min, and I had just collapsed directly into his arms. His gaze moved from my face down to where my dress had shifted, revealing the edge of a bruise on my collarbone. His expression didn't change, not outwardly, but something in his eyes went absolutely cold, the kind of cold that precedes violence. "Put her down." Nathaniel's voice cut through the silence, trying to sound authoritative and failing spectacularly. "She's just being dramatic. Too much champagne. You know how women—" "Finish that sentence." Kang Min's voice was quiet, but it carried. Everyone heard. "Please. I'm curious what happens when someone actively chooses death." Nathaniel paled. Smart man knowing when to shut up. My father pushed through the crowd, his politician smile firmly in place. "Mr. Kang, we appreciate your assistance, but I'll take my daughter now. Family matter, you understand." "No." A single word. "Absolute." "I'm sorry?" My father's smile tightened. Your daughter can barely breathe. She has injuries consistent with assault. Kangmin's eyes swept the crowd, landing briefly on Nathaniel before returning to my father. I'm taking her somewhere she can receive medical attention. You can either accept this gracefully or explain to everyone here why you'd prefer she stay and suffer. The crowd murmured. This was already the scandal of the season, and it was only getting started. My father's face flushed. You have no right. I have every right. Kangmin shifted me slightly in his arms, and I bit back a gasp as pain flared through my ribs. His attention snapped back to me immediately, his expression softening just fractionally. Bruised ribs? I nodded, not trusting my voice. Cracked or broken? I'm not sure. We'll find out. He turned, carrying me toward the ballroom's side exit. The crowd parted like water. Shauna. Nathaniel tried one more time, moving to intercept us. Don't make a scene. Come back here. We can talk about this privately. Kangmin stopped, looked at Nathaniel with an expression that made my blood run cold. Touch her again, and I will dismantle everything you've ever built. Your businesses, your reputation, your family standing, all of it. Do you understand? Nathaniel's voice shook. I understand. Good. Kangmin continued walking, his stride powerful and unhurried. The engagement is over. Consider the contracts void. You can't just... My father started. I can. I just did. Kangmin didn't even look back. Send your lawyers if you'd like. I'll send mine. We both know how that ends. And then we were through the doors, into the quiet hallway beyond. The music and voices faded behind us, replaced by the sound of his footsteps and my ragged breathing. You're Kangmin, I said stupidly, because apparently near-death experiences made me state the obvious. I am. There was something almost amused in his voice now that we were alone. And you're Shauna Walker, the genius behind the Walker family's supply chain optimization, the strategist who designed their distribution network, the woman whose ideas have been making your father rich for years. I blinked. How do you? I make it my business to know things. He shouldered through a door marked private without hesitation, carrying me into what looked like a hotel suite. Expensive furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, and, thankfully, a very comfortable-looking sofa, where he set me down with surprising gentleness. Especially when those things involve people as intelligent as you being wasted on people as stupid as your family. That's either impressive or deeply concerning. Can't it be both? He tilted his head slightly. I also know you hate your mother's charity galas. You've been teaching yourself Mandarin for 3 years, and you have a truly alarming caffeine addiction. I blinked. Okay, that's definitely concerning now. Would you feel better if I told you I only know things about people I'm interested in? That depends. Are you interested in me professionally or personally? His smile was slow, dangerous. Yes, that's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting right now. He pulled out his phone, pressed a single button. I need Dr. Rahman at the Belmont. Private Suite 4. 10 minutes. He ended the call and focused those dark eyes on me again. Your ribs, show me. What? You're injured. I need to see how badly before the doctor arrives. He crouched in front of me, putting himself at eye level. I'm not going to hurt you, but I need to assess the damage. Why are you doing this? My voice came out smaller than I intended. You don't know me. Don't I? He tilted his head slightly, studying me like I was a puzzle he was determined to solve. I know you built an empire that someone else takes credit for. I know you're brilliant, But your family treats you like property. I know you've been planning your escape but couldn't find a way out. My breath caught. How? I told you. I know things. His expression was unreadable. Now, your injuries. Don't make me ask again. There was something about the way he said it. Not a request, not even really a command. Just a statement of fact. I would show him, or he would wait until I did. I reached for the zipper on my dress with trembling hands. He turned away immediately, giving me privacy, moving to the windows to stare out at the city lights. The dress doesn't have to come off, he said, his back still to me. Just lift it enough for me to see the bruising pattern. I did, pulling the fabric up to reveal my ribcage. The bruises were spectacular. Purple and black and yellow, spreading across my side like some grotesque watercolor painting. Nathaniel's handprints were visible on my waist, his fingers immortalized in shades of violence. You can look now, I said quietly. He turned, and I watched his face carefully, looking for disgust, for pity, for that particular expression men get when they realize a woman is damaged goods. Instead, his expression went absolutely cold, not angry. Anger was hot and explosive. This was ice, calculated, deadly. How long? His voice was carefully controlled. This time, 2 days. This time. He crouched in front of me again, his eyes never leaving the bruises. How many times before this? Does it matter? Yes. He finally looked at my face. It matters very much. 6 months, since the engagement was arranged. I don't know why I was telling him this. Maybe because he was the first person who'd asked. Maybe because I was tired of carrying it alone. Not every day, just when I exceeded my boundaries. What boundaries? Speaking in business meetings, correcting him in front of others, having opinions about his strategies, being better at his job than he is. I laughed, but it came out bitter. The usual crimes. Kang Min stood abruptly, pulling out his phone again. This time I heard the conversation. Victor, I need everything on Nathaniel Kim. Every business deal, every hidden account, every mistake he's ever made. By morning. A pause. Because I'm going to destroy him, and I want to be thorough about it. Also, send someone to the Walker estate. I want the family's business records for the past 5 years. The real ones, not the sanitized versions they file publicly. He ended the call and turned back to me. Dr. Rahman will be here in, he checked his watch, 3 minutes. He's discreet, competent, and he won't ask questions you don't want to answer. After he examines you, we'll discuss your options. My options? For what comes next? He sat on the chair across from me, elbows on his knees, intense focus making me feel like the only person in the world. You're not going back to them, any of them. That's not negotiable. Everything else, we'll figure out together. You don't even know me. I know enough. A knock at the door interrupted him. That'll be the doctor. Dr. Rahman was exactly as advertised. Middle-aged, professional, and utterly unsurprised to be summoned to treat mysterious injuries in a private hotel suite. He examined me efficiently, asked clinical questions, and confirmed Kang Min's assessment. 2 cracked ribs, extensive soft tissue damage, and you're severely dehydrated. Have you been eating properly? Define properly. His expression told me he understood perfectly. You need rest, pain management, and someone making sure you actually take care of yourself. He handed Kang Min a prescription. These are stronger than over-the-counter. Don't take them on an empty stomach, and no strenuous activity for at least 3 weeks. After he left, Kang Min studied me with that unsettling focus again. Hungry? my stomach answered before I could, growling loud enough to wake the dead. His lips twitched. I'll take that as a yes. Any requests? Or should I just order everything and let you stage a one-woman raid? Everything. Definitely everything. I'm going to eat my feelings, and I have a lot of feelings right now. He picked up the hotel phone, ordered what sounded like half the menu, then sat back down. While we wait, let's talk about why I was at your family's gala tonight. To network? To be seen? I ventured. To destroy your family's business empire and take over their distribution networks. He said it like he was discussing the weather. I've been planning it for 6 months. Tonight was supposed to be reconnaissance, identify key players, assess weaknesses, make initial contact with targets. I stared at him. That's honest. I don't see the point in lying to you. You're intelligent enough to figure it out eventually anyway. He leaned forward. Here's what I didn't plan. You, collapsing. Me catching you. Seeing those bruises and deciding that your family doesn't deserve to exist, let alone prosper. So you're still going to destroy them? Oh, absolutely. But now it's personal. His smile was sharp enough to cut. Before, it was just business. Now I'm going to enjoy it. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know. And because I'm offering you a choice. He held my gaze. Option 1. I can set you up somewhere safe, give you enough money to disappear, and you never have to think about your family again. Option 2. You help me dismantle everything they've built, and you get a front row seat to watching them lose it all. That's not much of a choice, isn't it? He tilted his head. One gives you safety, the other gives you revenge. Most people know which one they want immediately. I thought about my father's face when I'd fallen, annoyed, inconvenienced. I thought about my mother's deliberate blindness, her practiced smile while her daughter was being systematically destroyed. I thought about Nathaniel's hands on my ribs and his voice in my ear telling me to smile. Option 2, I said. Definitely option 2. His smile was all predator. I was hoping you'd say that. Hold on. Did she just... Yes, she did. Shauna Walker just chose violence. She had a clean exit. Money, safety, a whole new life where she'd never have to see her family again. And she looked at that option and said, thanks, but I'd rather destroy everyone who hurt me and watch them lose everything. So I need to know where you stand on this. Comment right now. Are you Team Shauna or Team Girl, what are you doing? Do you think she's a certified badass taking back her power? Or do you think she's about to make the worst decision of her life and we're all about to watch a train wreck? I genuinely need to know. And listen, if you're emotionally invested enough to have an opinion on this, you need to hit that like button. Click subscribe. Do it for Shauna. Do it for me. Do it because I spent way too long writing this and I need to know people are actually watching. Your girl needs validation. Help me out. Now let's see how bad this gets. The food arrived, and I realized I hadn't eaten a proper meal in days. Kang Min watched with satisfaction as I demolished a plate of pasta, some kind of Mediterranean salad, and approximately half a loaf of bread. Better? He asked when I finally slowed down. Much. I wiped my mouth, suddenly self-conscious about eating like I'd just escaped a desert island. Sorry, don't apologize for taking care of yourself, ever. He poured me water from a crystal pitcher. Drink. Doctor's orders about the dehydration. I obeyed, and something about the simple act, him making sure I ate, making sure I drank, made my throat tight. When was the last time someone had actually cared whether I was okay? So, I said, needing to break the moment before I did something embarrassing like cry, you've been planning to destroy my family for 6 months. That's dedication. It's not personal. Or it wasn't. He settled back in his chair, completely relaxed now. Your family controls 30% of the Eastern Seaboard's luxury goods distribution. They've been expanding into territories that I consider sensitive. Sensitive meaning yours, meaning mine. He didn't deny it. 6 months ago, your father made a deal with the Chen syndicate that would have cut into my operation significantly. I decided it was time to reorganize the power structure. And by reorganize, you mean take over completely, restructure their networks under my control, and ensure they never pose a threat again. He said it so casually, like he was discussing a corporate merger, rather than something that probably involved broken bones and people disappearing. But as I said, that was before you saw the bruises, before I saw you. He corrected, and something in the way he said it made my pulse quicken. The bruises just made it urgent instead of eventual. I set down my water glass carefully. I need you to understand something. I'm not some damsel who needs rescuing. Yes, I was in a bad situation. Yes, I needed help getting out. But I'm not fragile, and I'm not going to fall apart. I know. I built their entire distribution network. The one you want to take over, that's mine. Every route, every contact, every efficiency improvement over the past 5 years, that was me. My father just signed his name to my proposals. I know that too. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Why do you think I'm offering you a partnership instead of just protection? I don't need another person to protect. Shauna, I have hundreds of those. What I need is someone who understands that network from the inside. Someone who knows where all the bodies are buried, metaphorically speaking. And literally, those two. His smile was dark. Your family isn't as clean as they pretend to be. I know. I've been keeping records. The words came out before I could stop them. His eyebrows rose. Have you now? Insurance, I thought, if I ever got out, I'd need leverage to make sure they left me alone. I'd never told anyone about the files I'd been compiling. The evidence of my father's bribes, my mother's money laundering through her charity foundation, the deals that weren't quite legal. I have 5 years of documentation, names, dates, transaction records, everything. Kangmin's expression was pure satisfaction. Shauna Walker, you're full of surprises. I had to be. They underestimated me because I smiled and played the dutiful daughter. But I was always planning my escape. I met his eyes. I just didn't expect it to happen like this. Neither did I. He stood, offering me his hand. Come with me. I want to show you something. I let him help me up, the pain medication starting to kick in, making everything slightly fuzzy at the edges. He led me to the windows, and I realized just how high up we were. The city spread out below us like a glittering kingdom, lights and life and possibility. See that building? He pointed to a skyscraper about 6 blocks away. That's where I run my operations from. Top 3 floors. Security like you wouldn't believe. And starting tomorrow, you'll have an office there. An office? You didn't think I was going to let you plan this revenge from a hotel room, did you? He turned to face me, close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from him. If you're going to help me dismantle your family's empire, you'll need resources, workspace, protection, a team. I don't need. Yes, you do. And stop arguing about needing things. There's no shame in accepting help. His hand came up, fingertips hovering near my face, but not quite touching, especially when that help comes with a very self-interested motive. Which is? Having the brilliant woman who built an empire work for me instead of against me. His smile was slight, but his eyes were warm, Also, I'd very much like to see Nathaniel Kim's face when he realizes you're the one destroying everything he thought he'd inherited through your engagement. Petty revenge. I like it. It's not petty if it's deserved. He stepped back, giving me space. You should rest. I'll have some of my people collect your things from your apartment tomorrow. Anything you want to keep. My laptop, my files. They're hidden in a false bottom in my desk drawer. And I hesitated. And there's a photo album, top shelf of my closet. It's from before everything got bad. When my family was still... I couldn't finish the sentence. I'll make sure they get it. His voice was gentle now. The bedroom is through there. You'll find everything you need. I'll be in the living area if you need anything. Where will you sleep? I have work to do. By morning, I want a complete picture of your family's vulnerabilities. He was already pulling out his phone, back to business. Sleep, Shauna. Tomorrow, we start planning your revenge. I made it to the bedroom before my legs started shaking again. The reality of everything. The gala, the collapse, Kang Min, the bruises, the engagement being over. My family's fury, the future, crashed over me all at once. I'd just thrown my entire life away. No, I'd just taken it back. I woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the smell of coffee. For a moment, I forgot where I was. Then the pain in my ribs reminded me, and everything came flooding back. The gala, the fall, Kang Min. I sat up carefully, testing my range of motion. Still hurt, but the medication and actual sleep had helped. The bedroom was stunning, all modern minimalism and expensive fabrics. Someone had laid out clothes on a chair, soft pants, a cashmere sweater, everything in my size. Unsettling how much he knew about me. I found him in the suite's living area, surrounded by laptops and papers, looking like he hadn't slept at all. He changed into dark jeans and a black shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms I definitely shouldn't be noticing. Coffee? He gestured to what looked like a small buffet. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I ordered everything. And by everything, I mean I think I bought out 3 restaurants. Is this how Mafia bosses apologize for not sleeping? Food mountains? Would you prefer I apologize with words like a normal person? God, no. This is way better. You didn't sleep. I had work to do. He handed me a mug of coffee, fixed exactly how I liked it. At my surprised look, he shrugged. I pay attention. That's either romantic or terrifying. Can't it be both? His smile was quick, transforming his face from dangerous to devastating. Eat. Then we talk strategy. I loaded a plate with fruit, toast, and scrambled eggs and settled onto the sofa. Did you get my files? Victor retrieved everything an hour ago. Your laptop, the files from your desk, and the photo album. He pulled over one of the computers, turning it so I could see the screen. I also had my team compile this overnight. Everything your family doesn't want anyone to see. I scrolled through the documents, my coffee forgotten. Transaction records, offshore accounts, communications with known criminals. It was worse than even I'd suspected. My God, they've been laundering money for the Chen Syndicate. For 2 years now. Your mother's charity foundation? It's a front. He pulled up more files. She's been taking payments from at least 4 different criminal organizations, cleaning the money through fake donations and grant programs. I felt sick. I knew she was involved in something. But this is enough to put her in prison for 20 years. Kang Min's voice was matter-of-fact. Your father's even worse. He's been skimming from his own partners, double-dealing with rival syndicates, and this is my personal favorite. He's been systematically stealing your ideas and selling them to the highest bidder. What? Every strategy you designed? He's been shopping them around to your family's competitors, making side deals, taking payments, and absolutely screwing over the people who thought they were in business with him. Kang Min's expression was cold. He's made over $3 million selling your intellectual property without your knowledge or consent. The coffee I drunk threatened to come back up. He sold my work. Repeatedly. You're the golden goose he's been plucking. Keeping you engaged to Nathaniel ensured you'd stay under his control, keep producing brilliant strategies, and never realize your own value. He closed the laptop. They've been using you, Shauna, systematically and deliberately. I stood, needing to move, to process. My entire life had been a lie. Not just the engagement, everything. They'd stolen my work, profited from my intelligence, and kept me trapped through fear and manipulation. I want them destroyed. My voice was steady, cold, not just embarrassed, not just financially damaged. I want them to lose everything. Now we're talking. Kang Min stood too, moving to stand beside me at the windows. I can give you that, but you need to understand what you're asking for. Once we start this, there's no going back. Your family will know you betrayed them. They'll come after you. Let them try. They will try. Your father has connections, resources, and absolutely no moral compass. He won't hesitate to hurt you if he thinks it will stop this. Then we move first. Hit them hard, hit them fast, and make sure they can't recover. I turned to face him. You said you've been planning this for 6 months. You must have a strategy. I do. But it was designed for a hostile takeover, not complete annihilation. His eyes searched mine. You're sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. All right then. He moved to the table, spreading out papers. Here's what we're going to do. First, we cut off their money supply. I'll have my people intercept the next payment from the Chen syndicate. Without that cash flow, they'll start struggling immediately. They have reserves, which will freeze. I have friends in banking who owe me favors. Your family's accounts will be locked pending investigation into suspicious transactions. I studied the papers, my mind already racing ahead. They'll try to liquidate assets, which is why we're going to get there first. I want a complete list of everything they own. Real estate, businesses, investments, everything. We're going to systematically acquire or destroy each one. That will take months. It'll take 3 weeks if we do it right. He pulled up a new document. This is the key. Your father's deal with the Chen syndicate. It's built on infrastructure you designed. If we offer the Chens a better deal, with you as the architect instead of your father, they'll jump ship immediately. You want me to make a deal with a criminal syndicate. I want you to take what's rightfully yours and make your father irrelevant. His smile was sharp. The Chens are businessmen first. They don't care about loyalty. They care about profit. You can give them that. Your father can't. I looked at the documents, the evidence, the strategy forming in my mind. We'll need leverage on Nathaniel too. Make sure he can't interfere. Already handled. Turns out your ex-fiancé has been embezzling from his family's company. I had my people deliver the evidence to his father this morning. Kang Min's satisfaction was evident. By now, Nathaniel is probably explaining why $2 million is missing from their accounts. You work fast. I told you. This became urgent. He moved closer. His presence both dangerous and somehow safe. The question is, are you ready for this? Once we start, your old life is over. Completely. Good. I hated my old life. We spent the rest of the day planning. Kang Min was methodical, brilliant, and absolutely ruthless in his approach. Every vulnerability in my family's empire, he found a way to exploit. Every asset they had, he had a strategy to seize or destroy. I matched him step for step, adding insights he couldn't have known, pointing out weaknesses in their infrastructure that only someone with my access would understand. "You're enjoying this," he observed around hour 3, when I'd just finished outlining how to turn my father's business partners against him. "Is that a problem?" "Not even a little." He leaned back in his chair, studying me with open appreciation. "You know what I find most attractive about you?" I met his gaze steadily. "My devastating good looks and charming personality." "Well, yes. But I was going to say the way you just eviscerated your family's entire business model in under an hour and made my team look like amateurs." Victor snorted. "She did not make us look like amateurs." "Victor, she's been in this office for 3 hours and already found 17 vulnerabilities you missed." 18, I corrected sweetly. "But who's counting?" "Well, yes. But more specifically, the way you're not pretending to be nice about this." He gestured to the plans spread between us. "You're not crying or feeling guilty or worrying about whether you're being too harsh. You're just efficiently dismantling the people who hurt you." "Should I feel guilty?" "No. You should feel exactly what you're feeling. Justified." He stood, moving to the coffee pot for a refill. "Most people in your situation would hesitate, question themselves, wonder if they're becoming like the people who hurt them. You're not doing any of that." "Because I'm not like them. They hurt people for power. I'm protecting myself and taking back what's mine." I accepted the coffee he offered. "There's a difference." "There is, and you know it." He sat on the edge of the table, closer now. "That's what makes you dangerous, Shauna. You understand exactly where the line is, and you're walking right up to it without crossing over. Learned behavior. I've spent my whole life watching my family cross every line that exists. I know what not to become." We worked through dinner, ordering in again, the food mostly ignored as we refined our strategy. By the time the sun set, we had a complete plan. 3 weeks to systematically dismantle the Walker family empire. "Week 1, Kang-min summarized. "We cut off their money and freeze their assets. Week 2, we turn their partners and allies against them. Week 3, we take over everything they built and leave them with nothing." "What about me?" I asked. "Where do I fit in this?" "You're the key to all of it. The Chens won't deal with me without you. Their partners need to see you as the legitimate heir to the Walker business, the one who actually built it." He pulled out a new document. "Which brings me to tomorrow. I need you to come to my headquarters, meet my team, and start making calls. Your team knows about this. My inner circle does. They're trustworthy, and they're very good at what they do." He met my eyes. "You'll be safe there. I promise." "I'm not worried about being safe. I'm worried about being useful." His smile was warm. "You're already useful. By tomorrow afternoon, you're going to be indispensable." Confident. Realistic. He stood, offering his hand. "Come on, you need to rest. Doctor's orders, remember? It's only 8 p.m. And you were beaten badly enough to crack your ribs 2 days ago. Rest isn't optional." He pulled me gently to my feet. "Besides, tomorrow is going to be intense. You'll need your energy." He was right, of course. My body was already protesting the long day, pain flaring despite the medication. I let him guide me back to the bedroom, then paused at the door. "Where are you sleeping?" "The sofa's fine." "That's ridiculous. This bed is enormous, and you haven't slept in over 30 hours. I couldn't believe I was about to say this. We're both adults. We can share a bed without it being weird." His expression was unreadable. "You're sure? Unless you're planning to make it weird. Define weird." His voice dropped lower, and suddenly the massive bed felt very, very small. "You know exactly what I mean." "Do I?" He was closer now, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off him. "Because I'm getting some very mixed signals about what you consider weird, Shauna." "Stay on your side of the bed, Kang-min. Cross my heart." But his smile suggested he was already thinking about breaking that promise. But there was something in his voice, warmth, amusement, and maybe something else I couldn't quite identify. An hour later, I lay in the massive bed, trying not to be hyper-aware of the man beside me. He kept to his side, maintaining a respectful distance, but I could feel the heat of him, hear his breathing, sense his presence. "Can't sleep?" he asked quietly. "How did you know?" "Your breathing. It's not steady enough." A pause. "What are you thinking about?" "Tomorrow. What we're about to do." I turned onto my side, facing him in the darkness. What it means. Having second thoughts? No, just first thoughts. It's one thing to plan revenge in theory. It's another to actually execute it. "We can stop, right now. I'll still help you disappear if that's what you want." "It's not." I was surprised by how certain I sounded. "I want this. I want them to understand what they did. I want them to feel what I felt. Powerless. Yes." He shifted, turning to face me too. In the dim light from the city outside, I could just make out his features. "Then we'll make sure they do. I promise you, Shauna, by the time we're done, your family will understand exactly what it feels like to have everything stripped away." "Thank you." The words felt inadequate. For catching me, for helping me, for seeing me. "I see you." His voice was soft, intimate in the darkness. "I've seen you since the moment I caught you, and what I see is someone extraordinary who is being deliberately diminished. I'm just helping you become what you always were." My throat tightened. "What's that?" "Powerful." We lay there in the darkness, the word hanging between us like a promise. Eventually, his breathing evened out, sleep finally claiming him. I watched him for a while. This dangerous man who'd crashed into my life and offered me both protection and revenge. Tomorrow, everything would change. I fell asleep, smiling. Kang-min's headquarters occupied the top 3 floors of a steel and glass building that screamed money and power. The elevator required a special key card. The security was visible and intimidating, and everyone we passed looked at him with a mixture of respect and fear. They looked at me with curiosity. "They're wondering who I am," I murmured, as we walked through an open floor plan filled with serious-looking people and expensive technology. "They know who you are. They're wondering what you're going to do." He guided me toward a glass-walled conference room. "I told them you're brilliant. Now you get to prove it." Inside, 3 people waited. Kang-min made introductions quickly. "Victor, my second in command, handles operations and enforcement." A man in his 40s, built like a boxer, nodded at me with shrewd eyes. "Alexis, financial strategies and money management." A woman in her 30s with sharp features and sharper eyes shook my hand firmly. "Jamie, technology and intelligence gathering." A younger man with a laptop and the kind of energy that suggested too much caffeine smiled warmly. "And this is Shauna Walker," Kang-min said. "The architect behind the Walker family's entire distribution network, and as of today, our newest strategic consultant." "Consultant." Victor's eyebrow rose. "That's a new way of putting it." "Would you prefer vengeful daughter with intimate knowledge of our target?" I asked sweetly. His laugh was surprised and genuine. I like her. Everyone does, Kang-min said dryly. That's part of her value. Now let's get started. Shauna, walk them through the Walker network structure. I moved to the digital whiteboard, and something in me came alive. This was what I was good at. Strategy, structure, seeing the connections others missed. For the next hour, I laid out everything I knew about my family's operations. The legitimate businesses and the criminal ones, the partnerships and the rivalries, the money flows and the weak points. They listened with the kind of focus that told me these were people who understood what I was giving them. The key, I explained, drawing connections between entities, is that everything flows through 3 central accounts. My father thinks he's diversified, but actually, he's created a bottleneck. Shut down these 3 accounts, and the entire operation starts to collapse. How do we shut them down? Alexis asked, leaning forward. We don't. We redirect them. I pulled up the account numbers I'd memorized. These accounts are controlled by my mother's foundation. I still have administrative access. She never removed me because she didn't think I was paying attention. Jamie whistled low. You can just steal their money? Legally transfer it to a different foundation that I'll establish today, one that actually does charitable work instead of money laundering. I smiled. By the time they realize what happened, the money will be gone, and there won't be anything they can do about it. Kang-min's expression was pure satisfaction. How much are we talking? Approximately $12 million. Victor laughed outright. Oh, I definitely like her. We spent the rest of the morning hammering out details. These people were professionals. They asked smart questions, anticipated problems, offered solutions, and they treated me like an equal. Not like someone who needed to be handled carefully. It was intoxicating. All right, Kang-min said as noon approached. Victor, start the process of freezing the Walker family's business accounts. Coordinate with our banking contacts. Alexis, work with Shauna on establishing the new foundation and transferring those funds. Jamie, I need surveillance on Walker Sr. and his inner circle. I want to know what they're planning before they do. Everyone moved to execute, and I found myself alone with Kang-min in his office. A massive space with those same floor-to-ceiling windows and a view that made the city look like a toy set. You're good at this, he said, leaning against his desk. Leading, strategizing, being in command. I've always been good at it. I just never got to actually do it before. I moved to the windows, taking in the view. They kept me locked away, using my brain but never letting me have any real power. You have it now. I turned to face him. Because you gave it to me. No, because you took it. He pushed off the desk, moving closer. I just provided the opportunity. You're the one who walked into that conference room and commanded respect from people who don't respect easily. They respect you. They're giving me a chance because of you. For now, but by the end of this week, they'll respect you because of you. He stopped close enough that I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. You know what I realized this morning? What? I was wrong about you. My stomach dropped. Wrong how? I thought I was offering you revenge, but that's not what you want at all. His eyes searched mine. You don't want to destroy your family out of spite. You want to take back what was always yours. The empire you built, the reputation you earned, the power you wielded from the shadows. He was right. The realization hit me like a physical force. This wasn't about making my family suffer, though that was a pleasant side effect. This was about reclaiming myself. Yes, I whispered. That's exactly what I want. Then that's what you'll have. His hand came up, fingers barely brushing my cheek, and I forgot how to breathe. "You have an eyelash," he murmured, his thumb grazing my skin. "That's the worst excuse I've ever heard. You want a better one?" His eyes dropped to my lips. "I want you to either kiss me or step back, because this middle ground is killing me. What if I like watching you squirm? Then you're an asshole." I've never pretended otherwise, but he stepped back, and I hated how much I missed his warmth. "I'm going to help you take back everything they stole, and when we're done, the whole city will know that the Walker Empire was built by you. They'll hate me. Both families, the Walkers and the Kims. They'll want me destroyed. Let them try." His smile was dangerous. "They'll have to go through me first." The moment stretched between us, charged with something I wasn't ready to name. Then his phone rang, breaking the spell. "Yes?" He listened, his expression darkening. "When? All right. Keep eyes on them." He ended the call and looked at me. "Your father just got the news about the frozen accounts. How bad?" "He's at his lawyer's office threatening to sue everyone involved. His lawyer is trying to explain that he can't sue a federal banking investigation." Kang Min's smile was sharp. "It's going exactly as planned. What's next?" "Next, we wait for him to make his move. He'll try to reach out to his partners, looking for support." He pulled up a document on his computer, and that's when we hit him with Phase 2. Phase 2 came 3 days later, and it was beautiful in its simplicity. I'd spent those 3 days working with Kang Min's team, establishing my new foundation, transferring the $12 million, and making strategic calls to my family's business partners. Each conversation followed the same pattern. I'd introduce myself, explain that I was the actual architect behind the Walker strategies, and offer them a better deal. Most took it immediately. The ones who hesitated got a personal visit from Kang Min. None hesitated after that. By the end of day 3, my father had lost 70% of his business partnerships. "He's panicking," Jamie reported during our morning briefing. "Surveillance shows he hasn't slept, he's drinking heavily, and he's making increasingly desperate calls to anyone who might help him." "What about my mother?" I asked, surprised by how little I felt. No guilt, no sympathy, just cold satisfaction. "She's pretending nothing is wrong. Went to her charity luncheon yesterday, smiled for all the society pages." Alexis pulled up photos. "But we have footage from her coming home. She's falling apart in private." Good, I thought. Let her feel what she put me through. "The Chens want a meeting," Victor announced. "They've heard you're the real power behind the Walker operations, and they want to discuss terms." Kang Min looked at me. "You ready?" "Absolutely." The meeting was set for that afternoon at a restaurant the Chen family owned. Neutral territory, they claimed. Though the 5 heavily armed men standing around made it clear whose territory this really was. Michael Chen was in his 60s, grey-haired and sharp-eyed, the kind of man who'd built an empire through intelligence and ruthlessness. His son, David, sat beside him, younger but with the same calculating gaze. "Miss Walker," Michael said as we sat down. "Or should I say, Miss Walker, now that the engagement is off?" "Shauna is fine." "Shauna, then." He poured tea with practiced grace. "We've been doing business with your family for 2 years. Very profitable business. Now you're here telling me that was all your work?" "That was all my work," I confirmed. "Every route I established, every efficiency I created, every innovation that increased your profits by 30%. That was me." "My father just signed the papers." "And you have proof of this?" I slid a tablet across the table. "Every strategy document I wrote, every email I sent, every proposal that bears my father's signature, but my handwriting in the margins. I let him scroll through the evidence. I can also walk you through every single decision, explain the reasoning behind each choice, and predict exactly how the current system will evolve over the next year. He studied the documents, then looked at his son, who nodded slightly. Impressive, Michael admitted. But why should we switch our loyalty from your father to you? What guarantee do we have that you won't disappear next week? Because I'm not going anywhere. My father is. I pulled up another document. This is evidence of his double dealing. He's been selling your trade secrets to your competitors, taking payments from at least 3 of your rivals, and planning to cut you out of the next expansion into the Midwest territories. David Chen's expression went cold. Planning to cut us out. He thought you wouldn't notice until it was too late. He underestimated both your intelligence and mine. I met his gaze steadily. I'm offering you a better deal. Direct partnership with me and Mr. Kang. No intermediary, no hidden fees, no double dealing. Clean business. Clean business. Michael's laugh was dry. In our world, as clean as it gets, Kang-min said, speaking for the first time. You know my reputation. I keep my word. I honor my agreements, and I don't tolerate betrayal. Shauna built the network. I provide security and enforcement. Together, we're offering you expansion opportunities your current arrangement could never provide. Michael Chen was silent for a long moment, studying both of us. Then he smiled. You're asking us to betray a 2-year partnership on the word of a woman we just met, and a man known for hostile takeovers. No, I said quietly. I'm asking you to make a smart business decision. My father is going down whether you help or not. The only question is whether you go down with him or whether you come out ahead. Another long silence. Then, Michael Chen extended his hand to me. And I took it with a grip that said I knew exactly what I was worth. Welcome to the partnership, Shauna Walker. Happy to be here. Though let's be clear, this isn't just a partnership. This is me taking what was always mine and letting you profit from it. I smiled. But I'm generous like that. David Chen laughed, surprised and genuine. I like her. Everyone does, Kang-min said, his hand finding the small of my back. It's extremely inconvenient for people who try to underestimate her. We shook, and I felt the shift in the room. This was it. This was the moment my father's empire officially crumbled. There is one condition, David Chen added. We want to meet with your father. Give him a chance to explain himself. Of course, I said smoothly. Would tomorrow work? They agreed, and as Kang-min and I left the restaurant, I felt something like euphoria building in my chest. That was perfect, Kang-min said, once we were in his Mercedes. You played them exactly right. They wanted to believe I was legitimate. I just gave them permission. I leaned back in the leather seat. Tomorrow is going to be ugly. Tomorrow is going to be justice. He reached over, taking my hand. How are you feeling? Powerful, I said, and realized it was true. For the first time in my life, I feel powerful. His smile was warm, proud. Good, because you are. That evening, we celebrated with his team. Alexis brought champagne, Victor ordered an absurd amount of food, and Jamie hooked up a sound system that probably violated several noise ordinances. It was chaotic and loud and absolutely perfect. To Shauna, Kang-min raised his glass, for reminding us all that the best revenge is living well and taking everything from the people who hurt you. That too, I agreed, laughing. Later, in the quiet of his penthouse, I'd been staying there all week, and it was starting to feel like home. Kang-min found me on the balcony. Can't sleep, he asked. Too much adrenaline. I accepted the glass of wine he offered. Tomorrow, I face my father. You don't have to do this. I can handle the Chen meeting. No, I need to be there. I need him to see me. I looked up at the stars, barely visible through the city's light pollution. I need him to understand that I'm not his frightened daughter anymore. You never were frightened. You were surviving. His hand found the small of my back, warm and steady. There's a difference. The meeting with my father was set for noon at the Chen family's restaurant. Kang Min wanted to come, but I asked him to wait outside. This is between me and him, I said. I need to do this myself. I'll be close, he promised. If you need me, I won't. But I appreciated the offer. My father arrived looking like he'd aged 10 years in a week. His suit was rumpled, his eyes bloodshot, his hands shaking slightly as he sat down across from me and the Chen family. Shauna. His voice cracked on my name. What are you doing here? I'm here to watch you reap what you sowed. I kept my voice level, professional. Mr. Chen, would you like to begin? Michael Chen laid out the evidence I'd provided. Every double deal, every betrayal, every lie my father had told. I watched my father's face go from confused to panicked to desperately defensive. That's not... Shauna, tell them. Tell them this is a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. It's documentation. I pulled out my laptop. Every strategy you claim to develop, I wrote it. Every successful negotiation, I planned it. Every innovation that made you wealthy, that was me. You're my daughter. You were supposed to... To what? Let you use me forever. Let you sell my work while keeping me trapped in an abusive engagement. My voice was still calm, but I felt rage burning under the surface. You didn't just steal my ideas, Dad. You sold them to your competitors. You made $3 million selling my intellectual property while paying me nothing and treating me like property yourself. I gave you everything. You gave me nothing. You took everything. I turned to the Chens. I believe we have business to discuss. The meeting lasted another hour. By the end, my father had lost the Chen partnership, along with the territory, access and protection it provided. He left looking broken, and I felt nothing. No, that's not true. I felt satisfied. Outside, Kang Min was waiting, leaning against his Mercedes like some kind of movie character. He took one look at my face and pulled me into his arms. How do you feel? Free, I whispered into his chest. I feel free. He held me for a long moment, then pulled back to look at my face. What now? Now we finish this. I straightened, and something in me felt different, stronger. I want to see him lose everything. The house, the businesses, the reputation. All of it. Then that's what you'll get. He opened the car door for me. I have a surprise for you. The surprise was an office. Not just any office. A corner office on the top floor of his building, with those spectacular windows and a view that made my breath catch. This is mine. This is yours, your space, your territory. He leaned against the doorframe. I told you, you're not a consultant. You're a partner. I walked around the empty space, imagining how I'd set it up. My desk here, my books there, my whiteboard on that wall. This was real. This was mine. Thank you, I said, turning to face him. For all of this, for seeing me, for helping me. Shauna. He moved into the room, his presence filling the space. I need to tell you something. My heart stuttered. What? When I planned to destroy your family, I had a strategy. Get close to you, extract information, use you to dismantle everything from the inside. He held my gaze. That was the plan. That's why I was at the gala. The floor felt like it dropped out from under me. What? I was going to use you. That was my intention when I walked into that ballroom. He moved closer. But then you fell, and I caught you, and I saw the bruises, and the fear, and the strength you were using just to survive, and everything changed. I couldn't breathe. You were going to use me. I was. I'm not proud of it, but I won't lie to you. His voice was steady, honest. You deserve to know the truth. I came to that gala to destroy your family by destroying you first. Get out. The words came out cold, final. Shauna. I said get out. I turned away from him, staring at the window so he wouldn't see my face. You're just like them, using me, taking what you want, pretending it's something else. That's not fair. I changed, but you didn't start that way. I spun back to face him. You looked at me and saw a tool, just like my father. Just like Nathaniel, another thing to be used. Yes, he said quietly, I did, and I was wrong. Wrong doesn't fix this. Wrong doesn't change that everything between us started as a lie. Not everything. The way I feel about you, that's real. How would I know? I was shaking now, rage and hurt and betrayal all mixing together. How would I ever know what's real with you? He didn't answer, couldn't answer, because he knew I was right. Leave, I said again. Leave and don't come back. He left. I stood in my new office, in the space he'd given me, and let myself fall apart. Because apparently I was very good at being broken. And apparently the universe had a cruel sense of humor, giving me everything I wanted and then ripping it away. My phone buzzed. Victor, your father just declared bankruptcy. The house is being seized. Your mother's in police custody. Turns out federal investigators were waiting for the right moment to move on the money laundering charges. Good, I said numbly. You okay? I'm fine. I ended the call. I wasn't fine, but I would be. I had to be. 3 weeks without Kang Min felt like 3 years. I threw myself into work, established my own operations, built partnerships, made a name for myself that had nothing to do with my family and nothing to do with him. Victor, Alexis, and Jamie stayed with me. They'd chosen me over him, which said something. He's miserable, Alexis mentioned casually one afternoon. I don't care. Yes, you do. She gave me a look. You're not sleeping. You're working 18-hour days. You snap at everyone. You care. Caring is what got me hurt. No. Caring is what made you strong enough to walk away. She sat on the edge of my desk. He made a mistake, a big one. But he also told you the truth when he could have lied. That doesn't make it better, doesn't it? She left me with that thought. That evening, I went to the old Walker estate. It was empty now, seized by creditors, everything inside being catalogued and sold. I walked through rooms full of memories, some good, most bad, all complicated. In my old bedroom, I found something I'd forgotten. A photo from my 10th birthday, before everything went wrong. My father was smiling, really smiling, not his political smile. My mother looked happy, and I looked safe. When had that changed? When had they stopped seeing me as a daughter and started seeing me as an asset? I heard footsteps behind me. Victor told me you were here, Kang Min said quietly. I can leave if you want. How did you know I'd be here? Because you're saying goodbye to all of it. He stayed in the doorway, giving me space. I wanted to say goodbye too. To what? To the man who thought using you was acceptable. To the version of me that looked at you and saw opportunity instead of... He stopped. Instead of everything you are. I turned to face him. He looked terrible, exhausted, drawn, like he hadn't been sleeping either. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he continued. "I'm not asking for another chance. I just wanted you to know that you changed me, completely. The man I was when I walked into that gala, he doesn't exist anymore. People don't change that fast. They do when they meet someone who makes them want to be better." He pulled something from his pocket, a folder. "This is every piece of information I gathered about you before the gala. Everything I was planning to use against you. I want you to have it. I want you to burn it or keep it, or use it to protect yourself from me, whatever makes you feel safe." I took the folder with shaking hands. "I love you," he said simply. "I fell in love with you somewhere between catching you and watching you take back your empire. I love your intelligence, your strength, the way you turned pain into power. I love that you don't need me, and I love that despite not needing me, you chose me anyway, until I gave you reason not to. Kang-min, I know. I destroyed it. I know." He turned to leave. "I just wanted you to know that it was real. My feelings, my support, everything except that first intention. That was all real." He was at the door when I spoke. "I choose dangerous," I said quietly. He stopped. "People keep asking me why I fell for you, why I chose a Mafia boss over a safe life." I moved toward him. "But I didn't choose you because you're safe. I chose you because you're dangerous, because you saw me and decided I was worth the risk of changing everything you planned. Shauna, you hurt me. You started this with deception, and that breaks something between us that I don't know if we can fix." I stopped in front of him. "But you also gave me back my life. You helped me become who I was always meant to be, and you told me the truth when you could have lied forever. What are you saying?" "I'm saying I don't know if I can trust you again, but I want to try." I held up the folder. "I'm saying that we start over, clean, no secrets, no deception. Just two people who are equally dangerous, equally broken, and apparently equally stupid about each other." His smile was cautious, hopeful. "Starting over. Hi, I'm Shauna Walker. I build criminal empires and dismantle people who cross me. I like coffee, strategy sessions, and revenge. I'm also apparently an idiot who falls for Mafia bosses who catch me at galas. Hi." His smile widened. "I'm Kang-min. I run most of the Eastern Seaboard's organized operations. I like honest women, brilliant strategies, and apparently making terrible first impressions. I'm also an idiot who looked at the most incredible woman I've ever met and nearly destroyed everything by being too smart for my own good. We're a mess. We're perfectly matched." He reached for my hand carefully, giving me time to pull away. I didn't. "Can I kiss you? Or is that moving too fast for starting over?" I pulled him down to me. "Shut up and kiss me." He did, and it felt like falling and being caught all at once, like danger and safety, like everything I'd ever wanted and everything I'd been too afraid to ask for. When we finally pulled apart, I was smiling. So what now? Now we build something better than either of us could build alone. He pressed his forehead to mine. Now we become unstoppable. 6 months later, I stood in a ballroom much like the one where everything had changed. But this time, I wasn't falling. I was walking in on Kang-min's arm, head high, powerful and feared, and exactly who I was meant to be. They whispered, of course. They always would. She seduced him. She used him. She's dangerous. She's not to be trusted. Let them whisper. They didn't need to know the truth. They didn't need to know I fell once, broken and wounded, into the arms of a dangerous man. They didn't need to know he caught me, and everything changed. All they needed to know was this: I was Shauna Walker. I'd built an empire. I'd destroyed another. And I'd chosen love on my own terms. The rest was just details. The rest was just details. 6 months turned into a year, then 2. My father's in federal prison. My mother plea bargained her way to house arrest. Nathaniel's family disowned him. Last I heard, he's selling insurance in Minnesota. And me? I'm running the Eastern Seaboard's most profitable distribution network, with a Mafia boss who still catches me when I fall. Turns out, the best revenge isn't living well, it's living powerfully. And I've never been more powerful in my life. And that's Shauna's story. If you made it this far, you're my people. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment. Was it the gala? The revenge plan? The romance? Hit like if you're Team Shauna and Kang Min. Subscribe because I've got more stories about women who refuse to stay down.